Have you ever felt like you've done everything right? You built that amazing career, you checked all of the boxes, but there's something inside you which is going, something's missing. Is this everything? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Why isn't there more? If this is you, then you're in the right place, and this is a conversation that you need to be listening to. Who am I? I'm Mansi. I'm a mindset and business coach for corporate professionals who want to stop surviving their careers and instead start creating intentionally, designing their careers to enable a quiet, rich, and limitless life. And I'm not talking about scaling down and minimalism kind of stuff. I'm talking about blowing the cap off your income and your potential kind of stuff. So this place is all about expansion. It isn't about scaling down. So today we are going to break down how you can start monetizing your expertise even if you feel like you're no way an expert without having to start from scratch and without sacrificing your freedom or burning out in the process. Sounds amazing, right? Okay, so let's get right into it. I have some slides for you today. We've talked about this. You've built a career, but it's time to build out your life. You have stacked about 10 to 15 years of experience. I'm guessing you're someone who's reliable, who's thoughtful, you're strategic, you deliver. But still, you feel like you're stuck and you're still playing it safe, and maybe you're still playing it small. And if you're feeling like that, chances are you are right because the heart does not lie. Okay. So, what's really keeping you stuck? This is what keeps everyone stuck, and this is what kept me stuck. Someone else is doing it better, someone else can do it better. So, you and I, every single day, we have tons of ideas, business ideas, great things that we believe we can build, but we stop ourselves because we believe someone else can do this better. Or why would anyone hire me? I don't have any credibility. I'm not a recognized expert. Maybe you think you need an audience. Maybe think that you need to have published research papers, or you think that you need another degree or a certification. Look, here's the no bullshit call out on this. Those are all permission slips. Everyone starts somewhere. You start with your first person, someone who knows you. You hit them, you convert that into a case study, and that becomes your starting point. And no recognized expert was born, published on HBR or on the TEDx stage or on the TED stage. Okay, everyone starts from scratch. Everyone starts somewhere. Everyone's beginning is cringe, um, and that's amazing. That's just part of being human, and it's about stepping into the arena. It's about putting yourself out there. So I get it when you're thinking that I'm not an expert enough and I don't have enough expertise, or someone else can do it better. But these are not valid thoughts. It could be a lot of fearful thoughts. What if I put in the time and it doesn't pay enough? Because God knows we don't have time. We have busy careers and families, possibly. And that takes a lot of time and energy. So, fear of burnout is quite real. And then the other fear is, okay, it does get started and I do get some traction, but what if the baby that I build is defected somehow? It's not going to scale, and then what's going to happen? Or if I try something on the side and people find out, especially if my boss finds out, people at work find out, what's going to happen? Everything that I have built so far is going to go down the drain. I get that. Again, it's just fear. This isn't real. Because if you put in the time and you do it slowly, patiently, and putting some thought into it, which I know that you're capable of, you know that you don't have as much to worry about. And all those folks that you're worrying about at work, honestly, nobody's thinking about you as much. And even if they find out, nothing bad is going to happen. It's not like, think of the worst case scenarios. It cannot be that bad. You know that. or at least a small part of you knows that. The third is fear of visibility. What will people say? What if my peers are going to laugh at me? And there was this one client who would keep saying that. What if I ruin the IIMA brand? Like, what if I put myself out there and people realize how cringy I am and that ruins my institution brand? I mean, in all seriousness and humor, none of us are that big. None of us get to influence a brand like that. Okay. So you're not ruining your brand or education brand or your company brand. You're totally fine. People forget, and social media, LinkedIn, and all the other platforms, they don't live that long. The content doesn't live that long. So it's okay. And finally, this one, which is if I am not building a unicorn, I have failed. Like if it's not big enough, I won't be able to put it on LinkedIn to say I am building India's next da 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 da. And somehow, if you're not doing that, that's not good enough. And again, uh, what if you building something small allows you to live out of Bali and work 5 hours a day or even less? Spend all your time surfing or with your family, spending time with your kids, or just living your life. And all of that is possible. The final thing that keeps you stuck is your addiction to certainty, like having a defined career path, having a salary, having a designation, knowing what to work towards next. These are all just blockers. Um, None of this is true, and freedom truly lives outside your comfort zone. Okay. So, and finally, these are not business problems, which is why I am a mindset and a business coach. These are all nervous system problems. What you do need is to work through your own fears and thoughts to create inner safety. And we'll talk more about that. Okay. So, let's tackle the first one. Okay. Which is I'm going to have to start from scratch. If I shift my career, it's going to mean a pay cut. Who's going to hire me? I will have to start again, blah, 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 blah. That is simply not true because if you can think about monetizing your expertise in the sense that you can create an offer and you can charge for the career capital that you have gained so far, which is also what I did until I shifted full time to coaching. There's tons of stuff that people would love to hire you for. So think of domain expertise. Maybe you're a FMCG marketer. Maybe it's your understanding of a certain kind of consumers. Like maybe you specialize on new moms in India. Wow, that would be different, right? Or your understanding of branding and media. All of this is really valuable to new brands and maybe smaller FMCG companies, D2C brands who are trying to build something valuable. Or maybe you specialize in the trajectory of the business. It could be that you've always worked in early stage startups, or you've worked in scaling up from 100 to 1,000 companies, or maybe you know how to crack a specific type of problem, whether it's operations or whether it's sales or it's setting up retail operations. I don't know. I just know that if you've spent more than a decade in a corporate setup, there are tons of problems that I believe you solve and things that you know just by breathing the air and being in the ecosystem in of the industry and the companies that you've worked with. There is knowledge that you have. Second is your network, which is people that you worked with, your alumni network. So you're not, so when you're saying, I'm going to look for a new client, you don't have to look very far off. Your network is going to be the first port of call. So it's going to be people that you worked with in the past who are going to hire you because they know you, they like you, they trust you, and you have credibility with them. So no, you don't have to go and build new credibility. Third is problem solving skills. And again, this is the biggest disservice that I have seen high performing generalist corporate professionals make is, oh, I'm a generalist, I'm good at problem solving. Sorry, that's lazy thinking and articulation. There is a context in which you've operated, which has informed your way of thinking. There is a certain type of problem, certain type of function, certain kind of organization that you have worked with, which makes you an expert in a very small niche. And the onus is on you to figure out that niche. So it could be sales enablement for B2B enterprises, or it could be financial projections and scenario modeling for new brownfield investments, or it could be structuring commercial deals at an enterprise level. I know that you've been solving problems all of your career. It's just about articulating it right in a way that makes sense to someone else and feels really valuable to someone else. And finally, you have something which is very something that you take for granted, which is your professionalism. Because you worked in large organizations, you have an eye for quality. You understand what a process looks like, what quality planning looks like, what quality thinking looks like, what quality execution looks like. That is something that it's in you. You couldn't separate it from you even if you wanted. And that's a clear distinction that you have from somebody who's only worked with startups, maybe. And great companies like Coca-Cola that I worked with or Genpact, they all come with some kind of organizational DNA. Like Coca-Cola really understands how brands are created, how brand love is created, measured, and executed. All of that great stuff, and that's something that you just pick up by virtue of being in those companies. Same thing with Genpact. It had understanding of process design and how processes are meant to work. So these are all things that you absorb unconsciously. It's time to put them out. And yes, it's hard to do this stuff on your own because there's so many blind spots. But if you can sit with your spouse or with a coach like me, that makes a huge difference because suddenly, you can start seeing things which you've been taking for granted. So you are not new and you are not starting from scratch. You just are a very badly marketed great product. You're a great product who somebody hasn't figured out how to market yet. And that's what people like me can do, help you market yourself better. Okay, so let's talk about, now that you understand that you actually are valuable and you have value to offer and you could get possibly paid and paid better than what you have ever been paid at in your salary. Because think about it, like within your salary, within an employment structure, there is a premium that the employer is charging you because they're giving you safety there, because they're giving you their brand, and because you have rights as an employee, they will pay you lesser. So if you say, look, I'm going to take accountability and I'm going to take charge of my career and I'm going to make sure that I am employed all of the time, the billable hours and all of that good stuff, you could possibly be making 3 to 5x of what you're making right now and be working fewer hours and fewer days, taking more vacation time. I know this kind of boggles your mind, but this is true and it has been my lived experience also. I was able to match my salary by working 3 days a week. I was able to exceed my salary by working 5 days a week. Exceed in the sense more than, like a little less than 2x, I would say. And that's amazing. And I would highly recommend that. Okay, so let's talk about how are we going to make this money now. There are three pathways to monetization, and none of them are glamorous. I'm sorry, they are not. They are boring, boring ways to make money, and that is why they work. Okay, so the first one is project based consulting. Okay, so if you're still in a job, you can start with some kind of project work. You can help a startup on the side, maybe it's a friend or an extended ex colleague who is starting something, and you can start with them for free initially. But here's the thing, you never do free work like free work. You always establish with them that once that there is a specific scope that you're going to help them with, and at the end of that scope, they are going to have to give you a testimonial which cannot be anonymous. Okay, that's really important because that will keep the transaction that you're making very clean from an energy standpoint. They are getting value and you are getting value also. You will always know when to walk away. make a clean exit from a situation like this. I've seen a lot of people kind of get into a hope mode with this. Okay, I will help you right now, and then at some point in time, maybe you'll be able to pay me. It doesn't work like that. The way to do this is you get the testimonial, you get the case study from this person who gave it to you for free, like who you worked for free, and then you go and use that to pitch to someone else who's more mature, who has the money, and you get better paid from that person, because that person is not seeing you as a free resource which is easily available to them. Okay, so, and remember that you are not quitting your job to do all of this. You are doing this as side income initially. And this also holds true if you're, by chance, if you've been laid off, this could be a great way to make money on the side while you're looking for a full time employment. And then, so why am I saying this is also sustainable? It can be sustainable. Three ways it can be made sustainable. One, you're charging premium prices. Why do I say charging premium prices is so important? Because you you're going to otherwise get stuck in chasing clients. Where is my next check going to come from? And it's going to make you a very kind of icky, clingy person to work with your clients, because they're going to be like, oh, she only wants to make money, or he's only looking to for ways to charge me more, or he's just too busy for me because he's got so many clients. Maybe I'm just not big enough. Which is why it's better to work with one or two good clients that you like working with, charge them well, create clean containers and great scope of work and out of scope, and define all of those things as you would do in a professional setup, and make your money. So one is premium prices. The second is converting these great relationships into retainers. So when I say a retainer, someone pays you for your availability, and they have a lock in with you for about a year, or at least 6 to 8 months. That gives you predictability and consistency in income. Win-win for both, because now you're not constantly negotiating for scope and all of that great stuff, and time and all of that stuff. You're simply there, fully available to them. And finally, you can also land fractional CXO roles, which are really great because it gives you an opportunity to work with companies, get understanding of the founders, the space, and all of that good stuff, and possibly also get a co-founder position eventually, or just continue being fractional in one or two different companies. So if you're somebody who likes to go deep, at the same time you like variety, and you like to be have your freedom and flexibility, and you don't want to compromise on money, fractional is a great option. But it comes with a caveat: you do need a strong personal brand, and I highly recommend have that, because that's what drives your ability to drive premiums when you're negotiating with people. Okay, and for the love of God, please do not share your salary transparently with these people. You want to keep a Chinese wall with them, and you want to get to be able to decide how much premium, what you want to charge, instead of letting someone else decide. That's just how I see it. Okay. The second boring way to make money, okay, is coaching or one-on-one advisory. So maybe you're a salesperson and you're really good at B2B sales, and you can just become a sales coach for other people like that. Or for like me, I figured out something. Some answers to my problems, my existential crisis, which is why I'm here helping other people solve their existential midlife crisis, and start new careers and reinvent their careers. And this is something that you can absolutely do on the side. In fact, and you know what, I've seen this very leaky thing that people do. They will get onto TopMate and they will charge like 1,500 an hour, and they will feel like, oh my God, like I am making money on the side, and I am also helping all of these people, and now I'm a mentor. I'm sorry, but that is not a business, and that's not going to lead to a new career, and that's not you monetizing your expertise. It's time to put yourself really out there, create a really great offer, a journey for someone, and drive true transformation for them. And this behavior is only coming because you think that if I make significant amount of money, then I'm cheating on my employer. And if I'm making only peanut amount of money, then it's not cheating. Then it's just like, okay, fine, it's allowed. It's kind of it's normal. It's fine if I'm making peanuts money, but if I'm making good amount of money, now I'm cheating on my employer. It doesn't work like that. Okay. The other thing, the reason why people don't like being a coach is I think there was this movie in which Jennifer Lopez comes in and says, "Those who can't do teach." What am I going to tell people that what I'm a coach now? And again, the whole thing about not being able to write on your resume or on your LinkedIn, I am building India's next. Da, 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 da. Uh, but again, coaching is amazing because it's very satisfying. You get to do one on one work, you get a lot of freedom, you get to make a lot of money if you play it right. And again, you package it right and you target the right kind of people, and you're offering good amount of value. It can be coaching and advisories all working at 90% plus margins, and that's how all of the digital nomads that you see around who are not actually just creators or influencers, that's how people are making their money and that's how they get to live that life. So it's the trade-off between glory and freedom. So if you want the glory of being on some magazine or being able to say you got this much funding from someone, if you can say no to all of that, because I mean, if you are here, I'm guessing that's not your jam either. Like for me, I was always very clear, I don't want to run a company which has hundreds of people. I just want freedom and I want to do meaningful, good, amazing, impactful work. And that's very much possible with coaching and advisory. Finally, workshops and digital products. These are all very scalable, but please understand you need to do one or two before moving here. This is not step one. People think they'll start with a masterclass or a workshop and then scale from there. That's not how it works because simply you do not have the credibility, the audience, and all of that chops to really fill these containers with the number of people that you need. Your price point will be really low and very quickly you will find them to be very low ROI and you will abandon them. So these are great ways to monetize, but they are not your step one. Okay, let's move on. Here are mistakes that you can avoid now that maybe you're excited, you have value, and you have these two ways that you can. Here's what's going to keep you stuck: waiting to get super clear clarity. Okay, if I do this, then how much money will I make? And then what will I scale with? And where will I get to? So, and then this is this whole concept of wanting the next 5-10 steps and the 5-10 years mapped out. And I'll only take the first step if I like the destination that I can project on. That is just you being trying to control too much. You're being controlling. It's time to surrender in the path to entrepreneurship and freedom. All you can hope to know is the next step, and you take the step and then the next and the next and the next shows up, and your business is going to evolve. You're going to evolve. Do not wait for clarity. Clarity comes through action. If you really value clarity, you would be taking action. Similarly, overthinking your niche, looking at competition and going, oh my God, everything is done. That guy's doing it better. Why would somebody come to me? Well, there's room for everyone. You're just getting stuck in scarcity mindset and a comparison trap. Two people can start with the same idea and land on two different planets because every micro decision that you will take, just like two airplanes starting with 5-degree difference in their trajectory, are going to land on two ends of the world. Two people are going to land on two ends of the spectrum with the same idea. So comparison is stupid. And even if you can see competition, like if you see a lot of competition in the niche, guess what? That's a great thing. That means there's demand for what you're looking to provide. It means there's a market. It means that you're on the right track. So please stop overthinking and get into action. Now, action can look like this for a lot of people. I'm going to create content and I'm going to create a brand and I'm going to have that much audience and then I'm going to start selling. Because right now I can't cheat on my employer, and so this is all that I'm going to allow myself to do. Again, like there's no point in creating content if you have nothing to sell, and you're again going to lose momentum on that front also. You're better off with an offer first so that everything is then aligned and you're working towards that. And this is again one more way of you creating another obstacle for you to get to that. And this is very common among high achievers that, oh, I need to get that certification and then I need to do this and I need to do that and then I can allow myself, then I can charge somebody. Again, like it's just you getting in your own way. And finally, comparing your year 1 or year 0 to someone else's year 5, it's you're just being mean to yourself, and you're being hard on yourself and getting in your own way. So my biggest advice to high achievers feeling kind of stuck in this situation is always look at how you're thinking, and maybe it's not true, and just start acting your way into clarity. Take a step, any step, and that's fine. For me, it really helped to sign up for programs, be in rooms and communities where people are doing this stuff and these conversations are going on, so that it normalized it for me and I was able to take action and move forward. Had I continued to hang out with the same bunch of people that I graduated with and that I was working with, I'm sure I would not have the life and business that I have, because I simply think and operate very, very differently now. And I learned it from people who did not have the safety net of a degree and a great corporate gig, and they really needed to make money online to sustain themselves. And that's where I learned to keep it simple and to keep going and to start small. And yes, B school teaches us to think big, but maybe the answer is to start small sometimes. All right, this is my rant against B school graduates and all the hangovers that we come with. And finally, people aren't watching you so closely, so please just stop worrying about what people are going to say and they're going to laugh and your batchmates are going to laugh. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, so how are you going to change everything? You need, first thing is all that funkiness that you've got going. I'm cheating on my employer, or nobody's going to hire me, or can I charge this much, will it ever scale? All of that is just you feeling unsafe, because fact is you just got addicted to a very, very safe career trajectory, and that have to be your truth anymore. Okay, so you get so the first thing, number one thing is just having the willingness to see things differently and to shift some of these beliefs. You can do that in different ways. I highly recommend working with a coach, because I've done it the same way, and I've done it through programs also. So both those things exist, and because the idea is for you to make this entire process smaller, easier, less scary, so that you can start taking action. Okay. The second is just being willing to serve. Stop looking at it as this is something that I want. I need to achieve this. This is my thing. And will the world give this to me? No. What if you just thought about like this is about serving people, it's about sharing what you know and being willing to look a little ugly so that you can serve people and people can benefit from you, and just give yourself permission to evolve in public. I've heard this also from a lot of people. What if I flip flop? And what if I am constantly changing my offer and niche? Won't people think I'm crazy? No, people will forget, honestly. And the one or two people who will see you, you know what? Like when you've made it, they'll be like, yeah, I remember this person did it this way, and their website used to look this way, and their content used to be really, but now, wow. Because and that evolution that people see makes you far more credible than you bursting on the scene like a rise of the phoenix. That doesn't happen. I'm sorry. Okay. Finally, changing your relationship with money and time. A lot of this funkiness, and I cannot tell you how much of it comes from the belief that from a lot of dumb beliefs that we've picked up around money, I think simply generationally and the kind of history that our country has, we are very much born into the scarcity poverty mindset and we carry it around. And there's a lot of struggle association with struggle, success, and money. Like money feels like cheating or bad if you got it easy. As long as you're working and struggling, it feels, and then earning it, it feels like you're a good, honest Indian. Again, these are beliefs that I would highly recommend challenging, because here I am doubling my income in the last 2 months by working less. I only work about 3 to 4 hours a day. I kid you not. And it didn't happen by choice. It was because I was going through some shit, and I just did not have the energy anymore. So, how much ever I hated it, I had to find a way to make it work. And you know what? It worked. You don't need to work that hard. And finally, yes, so we've covered the three big things that you need to change. It's most of it is mental shifts, you know. All on the other side of all of these mental shifts is that life that you get to live where you get to own your time. You work only 3 4 hours a day. You get to work out. You get to take care of yourself. You get to make good amount of money, and you get to have a nice, chill, quiet, rich life. So, if you're ready, and I hope that I have convinced you in this, or at least you found some value in this masterclass, you can DM me, self made, to explore working together. I am taking private coaching clients right now. It's a window. I cannot guarantee availability because. From June onwards, I am going to be busy with another program that I'm taking on. So I'm not going to be able to take on as many clients. Now is the time to get on board if you're really interested. And let's build your freedom foundation with more intention, with more sustainability, and loads of power to you. Because honestly, even if you don't replace your salary, even if you make 50,000 more, 1 lakh more, it changes things. You go from 0 to 1. You go from someone who's completely dependent on salary to someone who knows how to make money on their own without having to depend on anyone. So nothing scares you anymore. Increments don't scare you anymore. Appraisals don't scare you anymore. Layoffs don't scare you anymore. That's a fucking powerful place to be in. Can't wait to connect with you if this resonated. DM me, let's talk.